So to get started, we need to draw a nice curved line. You don't want it to be too curvy, just a nice curve. Okay? Then we're going to start by adding some points along our curved line. You don't want them too close together. That's probably as close as you want. And you don't want them too far apart. About that far apart is good. So you decide how far apart you want these and how many you want across your line. You don't want these dots to be too dark or too big, because in the end we want these to just disappear. We don't want to see these when we're all done. Okay? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to connect from dot to dot using a curved line. So we're going to go from this dot to this dot, and we're going to start curved and end curved. Okay? We're going to do this several times in one spot. Notice how my pencil lines come from one spot. After you do one spot 2, 3, maybe 4 times, move your pencil up to create a new spot and draw some more curved lines. Maybe this time I'll do 2. Now see how my pencil used the same spot twice? That's good. I'm going to move up my curve a little bit, and I'm going to continue to do more curved lines. So remember, you got to start curved and end curved. Okay? Maybe this time I'm just going to use one spot one time, and now I'll move my pencil up again. Okay? And you're going to keep going, gradually getting larger and larger. You can see how my curved lines start out really small and close together, and then they get larger and further apart. Okay? Now if you want your line to turn, that's another technique. If you want it to curve, you have to start up higher on your curve and come lower to the right. So we're going to come up higher and curve to the right. Notice again how I'm getting larger and larger. The idea is that you want these to kind of grow and maybe twist and turn a little bit. So now I've turned it to the right, and now I want it to turn back to the left. So now I'm going to come to this side, and I'm going to put my pencil up pretty far on the curved line. See how far up my pencil is? And now I'm going to go back the other way. And maybe I just do a couple one times. See, I did it once there and once there. Now we can curve it back the other way. Notice how they're getting smaller and smaller again and closer together. So it looks more interesting if you add more variation to your lines, meaning the variation is closer together, then it gets further apart, and then closer together again. So once you do the top, now you're going to do the bottom. Okay? So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start really close together, and we're going to go dot to dot. And remember, you want to use one point a few times, maybe no more than 4. Okay, so I have 4 lines all coming from the same location, and then move your pencil up. So I'm going to move my pencil all the way up to here and start a new place. Okay, and maybe this time I use that one twice. So see here, I used my pencil twice in one position. Okay, so you can see how we have them close together, then we got further and further apart, and it got bigger and bigger, and then we got smaller and smaller again. So now we have one whole tube complete. Now the next step is a little bit trickier. Now we have to go from dot to dot, but we have to make sure that the lines continue to touch each other. So what I mean by that is that this line has to touch that line. We don't want any gaps. Okay, otherwise we're going to lose our depth. And the whole idea is that we're trying to achieve depth here. Okay, so notice how the lines are constantly touching each other. So we're going to continue to do this. And again, you get to decide where these lines go, where your tubes go. Okay, add some variation to them to make them really interesting. Right, and maybe this one gets really skinny. But notice how they continue to touch. Okay, I'm going to make this really little now, until it goes right off the page. Okay? So make sure that you start curved and you end curved. What we don't want to do, I'm going to show you what we don't want to do now. Let me do this one kind of fast. We'll get this started here. Notice how I'm starting curved and ending curved. Okay, we don't want any straight lines and we don't want any rainbows. What we don't want to do is a rainbow, okay? And what I mean by a rainbow is this. See how my points aren't connecting to one another? All of these lines need to connect to one spot. Otherwise, we're creating a rainbow. This is not achieving depth, so you do not want to do this, okay? The next thing that you don't want to do